So Joe, we were recently at an event where PM Tun M was, and we managed to sort of speak to him very briefly about Maju Holdings and their plan to take over Plus, of course, the country's highways. We managed to pull him aside for a few minutes to get his views on that.
3 minutes, yeah.
And here's the interesting thing: this is not the first time at the rodeo, because Maju Holdings did try to take over Plus before. Now kind of refresh my memory. Why did it not go through that time?
Yeah, he put a proposal in mid 2017. When we asked him, he was saying the former PM Najib had asked him to put a proposal in. He actually raised funds from Evercore, if I'm not mistaken, and then somehow nothing happened.
Okay.
So it seems late last year, the government asked him if he still had the funds, and he said yes.
All right.
And by December, he said he'll check. Then by December, he had the funds.
Okay.
So he put a proposal in early this year. Then they had to tweak it a few times, and they got this.
So we actually managed to see parts of the proposal.
He didn't want to show it to us. I mean,
But you got it some other way, right?
we have our own jalan lah, but I couldn't see the whole thing lah.
Okay. And so as far as I can break it down from it, there are four main sort of proposals. The good thing is, as I drive, I know you don't drive, but I drive, is that it all results in some reduction of toll.
Yep.
So you're talking about a 10-year extension for 25% reduction,
Yep.
and then it goes on. So 20...
Max is 36%.
Yeah, so at the end is 36% reduction, and that's for an extension of 20 years, correct? So you asked Made about it, this proposal?
We asked him if he was for it. He sort of nodded, and he said the one opposing it was Finance Minister Guan Eng. But he said he talked to him.
We said to talk to him. But did he seem keen on it, Made?
He said there's only one proposal in. Earlier, there was talk that Tan Sri Halim Saad also had a proposal in, and Tan Sri Said Mokhtar was also eyeing it. So earlier, we always thought there were three. Now it seems there's only Tan Sri Abu Said is after it lah.
Oh, okay, Tan Sri Abdul Said, of course, is behind
Maju, yeah.
Maju Holdings. What else was in that proposal that was kind of interesting? I just saw the toll rates, admittedly.
I couldn't see much of the details lah, but I think when he did a presentation to Ministry of Works, Barubian, they were quite for it, I think. So we cornered Barubian as well at the same event he was there, and we asked him, and he said they'd make an announcement about a week. But I think it's going to take more than a week probably.
It seems to be, right?
Yeah, and he said they didn't want to confuse the public.
But we did actually also ask Guan Eng's office as well for their feedback on this.
Yeah, you see, what we did, we asked them if they were opposed to Maju's proposal, why? They said it's not appropriate to comment.
What's actually standing in the way of this proposal, since it seems to be the only one on the floor?
I think it's probably Guan Eng has to be convinced that it's the right way to go.
But it's all about credibility, right? I know about Tan Sri Abu Said as the businessman and the stuff that he's done, and Max is a great highway, let's be honest. But the big question about credibility is he qualified to run a highway? Just because you like someone or you think he's good at something doesn't mean he's qualified to run a highway, right?
I think he answered it pretty well when he said if he doesn't do well, and he thought about it and said actually the government should pray that he doesn't do well, because then he's putting in 3.5 billion cash and assuming the debts. So if he doesn't do well, the government takes it back and they keep his 3.5 billion. And we followed the whole Plus takeover thing for quite some time. The last interview we had with him, he mentioned that Plus spends more than 50 ringgit for maintaining 1 square meter of the highway. He told us this is 18 ringgit.
That's
yeah.
big. Somebody you quoted did mention that it's not rocket science.
It's a running highway. It's not that difficult to. What's there to it? You take over. There's an existing management. And you got to understand that when Khazanah they give out jobs, it goes to Propel, Agenta, and all their own units first. They pass it around. That's why the cost is so high.
Okay.
So Abu says he wants to remove that, and if what he says is true, there's tremendous savings from that.
Tan Sri did have an interesting past with Perwaja as well. Should that be a worry?
Okay, if you ask him, I don't know exactly what happened, but he feels that if he had carried on running it, it would have been okay. But he was forced to take a 51% shareholder. and he had three choices. There was Tan Sri Kwek Leng Chan, Hong Leong. There was Tan Sri William Chang, the steel player, La Vega Steel and Lion Group, and also Tan Sri Peng, Kin Steel. And to his credit, he didn't sell any shares, even though, and he says he lost something like 700 million. And so we asked him why he didn't sell, because he told the government he won't sell, you know. So it's like, I don't know if he can run plus. I don't know if he's biting off more than he can chew, but he is willing to give it a shot, you know.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.